Oh, yes. That's my impression of Tom Baker laughing. Just thought I'd
Thanks. That was
everybody.
That was an unusually apolitical way to start the show.
It was, it was quite safe for me. Let's ruin that. Baby seals. I'm not going to finish it, but everyone imagined the controversy. That they were all going out performing some kind of baby seal tribute act. Anyway, one for 90s kids. Welcome.
Hello.
To Byong Dyong Gyong. I am the once and future Minge.
I am the one and only. That's me.
What's really weird is both of the things we've just said have reminded me of the panto I'm in right now.
Oh, sure. All right.
New Theatre Roll, lincoln.co.uk for those who want to come and see it and get tickets. Yeah, that song that you just sang features very briefly as a music sting for a character introducing themselves.
Okay.
And this podcast gets a shout out in the programme.
Yay!
We're in the programme, which makes me very happy, and also makes me slightly nervous because I just said the word minge. But yeah, no, seriously, I checked the programme proof.
That's the worst word we've ever said on this show.
I checked the programme proof the other day. They were like, "Oh, is there anything you want to change?" And I looked, and I was like, "Oh," because I didn't know if it'd make it in or not, but it did.
Yeah.
It ends with for weekly online content, Chris is in the family-friendly Five Who Fans sci-fi comedy channel, and the not-so-family-friendly Big Damn Cast podcast talking all things nerd culture and nerd, geek and pop culture.
It is definitely not family-friendly.
So for those wondering...
Those fucking families, I hate them! Not that much going on this week.
I know, right?
Christoph, we are in the calm before the Star Wars storm.
The Storm, as it's known in nowhere. And, I was going to say, because even this week I was thinking, what have I done or what have I absorbed in the pop culture lexicon that we could discuss? And I was like, nothing's really happened. I'm seeing The Disaster Artist tonight, but, that's... just chat a bit about that next week.
I'll be seeing that at some point this week. And Star Wars comes out after we record next week, so we can't talk about that until the week after that.
Yeah, which is fine. Enough time for spoilers. We can go all in, I suppose.
Yeah.
I'm staring at a few more Star Wars Black Series figures because I made the mistake of going to Toys R Us yesterday, or should I say, the wise decision, to find that they're having a massive sale.
Well, because a lot of them are closing.
Well, I thought about that because yesterday morning I read the article about the two of the three Greater Manchester stores that are closing.
Yeah, Manchester and Bolton are closing.
Manchester and Bolton, yeah, sometime, I think they said April 2018 is the estimate for them both closing down.
Yep.
So I think we need to go after our birthdays when we've got some spends and just buy a shit ton of Transformers and Marvel Legends.
Well, that'd involve having actually some decent stuff in stock.
Well,
which seems to be a problem.
They sometimes do. It's just not put on the shelves because the staff in all the Greater Manchester ones seem to not give a crap.
Nope.
About stocking the shelves. But the Warrington one will still be up, and that one was always my favourite of the Manchester ones, to be honest.
Listen, I've got some things to say about Toys R Us which are not pleasant. As in,
go for it. Now's the time.
Why?
I said something.
Why do you put two? Why do you put one franchise in two separate places in the store and don't mirror the fucking bays? Right?
Oh,
so how are you supposed to know what's where?
Oh, yeah, the Transformers that are always near the door, and then there's some at the back of an aisle near the action toys as well.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God. Well, I mean, we could go on about Toys R Us for hours. The way it's weirdly... The fact that they essentially stick to selling things at RRP, despite the fact their main competition is Amazon, and Amazon, apart from items that sell out immediately, always sell cheaper.
Slash them prices. But at least they don't do what Hamleys do and mark everything up.
Yeah, I know. Hamleys are... Oh,
God, Hamleys is crazy.
Smythes tend to flip between really decent deals and RRP.
Yeah, Smythes can be alright.
But yeah, Hamleys is ridiculous. But Toys R Us is... That's why people aren't going there. Because it's like, well, if I got Toys R Us to buy my kid that one thing, it's going to set me back 40 quid. Whereas if I get it on Amazon... Or, God rest its soul, if Woolly still existed.
Oh, no.
Woolworths,
No.
You can get it for like 20 quid. So it's like, oh. But, so I went to
Not
Toys R Us,
Woolworths.
There's a massive sale, and I'm like, oh, God, has the Lincoln store been hit as well? Like, has that one been hit too? And I feel weirdly attached to this store because it's a 15-minute walk away from where I'm staying, which has never been a luxury I've ever had in my life. The idea of Toys R Us being a walk away.
Yeah, I know, right?
Dangerous as an adult who earns money and like basically lives by every paycheck and is like, yeah, but
I'm going to buy Star Wars figures.
Yeah. But also like they're co-sponsoring the Panto this year. They're one of the sponsors for the Panto. So like, we always give them a name drop and stuff like that. And in a way that isn't egregious, luckily, when you have to try and shoehorn sponsors into things and it feels weird. We've managed to make it not weird, so that's nice. But so I'm a little attached to them. And I went in and I was like, oh my God, it's a massive sale, specifically Star Wars. I went up to the Black Series figures, £8 each.
Decent.
For the 6-inch Black Series figures, which usually retail between £17 and £26.
Very decent.
I know, so I picked up 5. Oh, God. I picked up Captain Poe Dameron.
Yeah.
I picked up Luke Skywalker.
These Last Jedi ones, yeah.
In his big old, his big old white robes.
Oh, yeah.
I picked up Maz Kanata, which is more based on Force Awakens.
Well, she must be small as well.
Oh, she's tiny, so she comes with a big accessory. She comes with the big wooden chest with the lightsaber in it.
Oh, okay.
Which is quite cool. I picked up Rose, the Resistance pilot.
Mm-hmm.
And I picked up Finn in his Imperial disguise.
Oh.
So basically John Boyega in a Nazi outfit with sci-fi weapons.
Oh.
Shaka. So they're now sat next to the Kylo Ren I got just like after I moved down and found it cheap.
Wow, how lovely.
So so there's a lovely little selection. It feels like Rey's missing, but I have a Rey at home that I bought back in September, so fair enough. So I went to the till, like basically spending 40 quid on 110 quid's worth of action figures.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah! And the lady at the till sort of like, the way they are in loads of Toys R Us, I love how we just got into a Toys R Us tangent. The way that Toys R Us is now, where like usually they only have, at least the ones we go to, one person manning a till, and because it's next to the staff room, they don't go to any of the tills, they just use the customer service desk instead.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because it's closer to the cup of tea that they've clearly got like tucked away around the corner. And, instead of out and about in the shop putting interesting stuff in the places where people could see it, which is part of the downfall. Anyway, and she sort of, she was like, oh, yeah. I was like, oh, yeah, can I have this? Yeah. La, la, la. And I went, so what's the sale for? Because I noticed it was on quite a lot of items. She went, what do you mean? I went, well, the sale, is it to do with the remission? And her face dropped. She went, what? And I was like, well, there's a bit of bankruptcy in the company. Some stores are closing. I didn't see this one listed as closing. Is it? I mean, she went, I thought it was just because we were making room for some more like stock on certain brands.
Oh, God.
And I was like, oh, well, yeah, it's probably that. And
yeah, that makes sense.
And then she spent the next like minute looking terrified as she cashed up my stuff, and I was like, oh God, oh my God, what if this store is going under?
What if I've just told the staff?
To her? What if the chirpy fat idiot who just bought a bunch of Star Wars toys just told her? Oh my God.
It's not your fault, Christopher.
I know it's the manager's fault if no one bloody said anything, but I was still like, oh shit, oh God. I just wanted to almost guilt buy more things to be like, but look, hey, look, money, tell them how much you've made today. Look, woo, yay.
You're a monster, God, no. Christopher. You're a monster!
I am in a way. But yeah, so get it while it's hot, kids. You know when you see some that you think's cool, but you're not collecting them, but you see them on offer and you're like, oh, I might do. You know the new figures they're doing for the Last Jedi, the tiny, original scale ones.
Oh yeah, with the sound chip technology from the Phantom Menace toys again.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, the Phantom Menace sound chip technology based thing that you put them on was still like 40 quid for that set, which is stupid. But the figures had been lowered in this price. They were like £4.50 each.
Oh, okay.
I was so tempted, especially because two of them, because they've obviously started to put out some more legacy characters. Two of them were Obi-Wan and Yoda.
Oh, all right.
I was like, oh god, I'm tempted, but no, I'll hold off. Because two of them is one of these Black Series figures, and they are absolutely gorgeous, and I am collecting them. So, yeah, I'm just looking at them now. I'm looking at Kylo Ren's new look. I'm looking at Poe Dameron's new look, and Finn's disguise, and Rose's costume, and everything. And I'm like, what if I hate these characters when I watch the movie? What if the new movie makes me go, oh, I don't like these guys? I'll be like, Jesus, I spent £8 on each of them.
What if you hate the movie?
Well, that's a risk I'm willing to take, my friend.
Because what I think you're going to have plenty of Disney material to like or dislike coming up over the next couple of years.
And that is how you segue, boys and girls.
No, you can't comment on it. Once you comment on it, you kill it.
Matt, what's the first story?
So, rumours are abound that the Disney-Fox merger we talked about a couple of weeks ago, or the Disney-Fox buyout, I should say.
Yeah, specifically the purchase of 21st Century Fox, 20th Century Fox's main creative arm.
Yeah, the film business and other bits and pieces. Apparently that
ties into their TV productions, but not their TV stations.
Yeah. Apparently that's back on and
Ugh.
close to happening.
Yeah, which is sort of what we suspected the other week. It's like, why would they be revealing this unless they're unless they're testing the water to see what public reaction's like?
Disney aren't the only people going after Fox, but they're the best.
They're the biggest, they're in the words of the great poet Bruno Mars, they're a dangerous man with some money in their pocket.
Yes, exactly.
So,
yeah. To say the least.
24 karat magics. So red hot sound of the summer, winter, whatever. But yeah, it's this. So if you want to know our full expanded thoughts on this potential buyout, head back a couple of episodes to the episode with the scary Mickey Mouse for the thumbnail. But yeah, this is gross. And the problem is, you know what was happening yesterday when this was sort of being bounced back again as, oh, this might be happening.
Yeah.
On Twitter, one of the big Twitter moments was about fans speculating about Marvel properties. And the whole thing was like people going, oh my god, could you imagine, like, we finally have a good Fantastic Four movie? Oh wow, after Infinity War they might be making the X-Men join the MCU. Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what's depressing about this is even this moment is encouraging the wrong thing we should be focusing on.
Yeah, like it's not worth it. It's not worth...
I would love a Disney Fantastic Four movie. I would adore that. I think that'd be the best place for it. But here's the thing. X-Men and Fantastic Four are just like 2% of everything they would get hold of.
Oh, yeah.
Like, this isn't about Marvel. This is about Disney having a monopoly and taking the majority of the profits in cinemas from certain TV licenses. Oh, that's scary.
And how many people are going to lose their jobs in a restructuring?
Yeah.
Like,
how many years is it going to be? How many years is it going to be before they realise that they've given like Janine on floor 3 the job of 18 people, and it's nearly killing her before they go, maybe we should hire some more people. It'll be a while.
It's going to be a massive cull of people in the film industry by them taking on Fox and restructuring it. It's just going to be crazy.
Yeah.
And also, Fox, for all their faults, they do take more risks as a studio than Disney do, which means you get some more interesting films out of them. Whereas Disney do not take risks, and they've slashed the amount of films they put out per year through all their subsidiary studios as well.
Yeah, like you're not seeing Touchstone or anything like that rolling around anymore, are you?
No. So it's all about big hits and making big hits, and it's just not good for the movie industry as a whole. It's good for the people bankrolling it because it puts money in their pockets, but it's bad for variety, it's bad for the talent, it's bad for jobs, it's bad for the consumer because you're not getting as much variety of genre. It's bad for everyone. And
I'm looking at the practices that they undertook during the time of Force Awakens and what appears to be happening again with Last Jedi, with what they were doing with cinemas and the mandates they were giving out.
Yeah.
It's like, imagine if like they had two big films out based on stuff that they've been putting out through their own house and what they've now acquired through Fox, and they force like certain theaters to basically just show those two movies.
And
That's nuts. That's absolutely nuts.
It's not worth it for a good Fantastic Four movie. Like,
no, it's not.
There's more important things in this world than Marvel getting the Fantastic Four rights back. It's I don't know. It's just
scary times. It's
a scary thought.
Times.
So that might be in our near future, which is worrying to say the least.
We say this as people who I don't think I'm just speaking for myself here. Like, we say this as people who love like Walt Disney Pictures and love like the Disney brand in terms of the family entertainment arm of everything they do. Like,
yeah, I think
I love that world, and it sucks because now I'm having to kind of in my head be like, oh, well, that's just part of this big evil cloud of what the fuckery as well.
Well, yeah, because
obviously at the end of the day, they're companies. So the bottom line is money. But
yeah, well, I'm very positive about a lot of the work that Disney do, a lot of the stuff they produce. I'm always very conscious that they're an enormous conglomerate who hoover up money, and that's the reason that they make good stuff consistently is because they've worked out, unlike many other studios, that if you put out quality stuff consistently, more people will buy it.
Yeah.
So at the root of all their decisions is the fact that they're gonna make more money off it, and you kind of have to accept that insidious undertone to everything good that they do. And we love Disney's work, Disney's output for the most part, but it is, it's all a money making scheme. At the end of the day, it's just one that's been dressed up very well.
Dear. Well, at least the X-Men are involved in some slightly less heinous stories this week. Specifically, one. Well,
this is
what do you know?
This is a weird one.
Yeah, it could be amazing, but I think the way it's being described to us now, like, what the hell is it?
Well, I've got some info for you, Christopher. I've got some info. So,
strap in.
So, Marvel and Stitcher, who is a podcast network, they are partnering for Wolverine: The Long Night, a 10-episode scripted podcast written by Benjamin Percy and starring Richard Armitage as Wolverine.
Guy of Gisborne.
Yeah, oh yes.
Everyone else is like, oh, the guy from The Hobbit. I'm like, yeah, screw that. Call back.
Percy is, versed in comics because he writes Green Arrow and Teen Titans for DC at the moment.
Yeah.
And the story, apparently, it's going to be a scripted narrative podcast, and it's
okay, yeah,
and it's going to be the idea that Logan is the prime suspect in a series of murders in Alaska. It's also going to star Scott Adsit, Bob Balaban, Chris Gethard, Brian Stokes-Mitchell, Senior Keenan-Bolger, Andrew Keenan-Bolger, and Atto Ascendo in as-yet unnamed roles. So it's a full cast audio drama by the sounds of it, released as a podcast. And yeah, it just sounds like it's going to be this weird crime story with Wolverine in Alaska, but it sounds like it's a mind-wiped Wolverine, so I don't know if this is an out-of-continuity thing, or if they're going to do their own sort of podcast universe, which I think...
I really hope that's not their focus.
Oh no, that is actually happening.
Oh no!
Further down the article, there's a quote from Ben Percy. "We have a fun opportunity here, and that's to create our own continuity. A continuity that will grow more and more expansive as the Marvel podcast universe expands. There are glimmers that people will recognise, references to Weapon X and wartime Logan, Japan and past relationships that he's had, but he himself is not able to really work through his moth-eaten memory until the conclusion of this first season." So that's...
Oh God. Why do people plan long hauls now? I mean, I know it's because they think, money, 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 but it doesn't help the long standing of the project.
But that,
should it then end?
Are Stitcher going to be charging for this?
Good question.
Because is it then really a...
Well, technically, it's an audio drama, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
Which is being confused by the fact they keep calling it a podcast.
Yeah. If they're charging for it, is it then a podcast? isn't it then just an audio drama which is being distributed by Stitcher? I don't know.
Are they calling it a podcast because podcast is just currently the buzzword a lot of these companies use for weekly audio release?
I believe so. Well, I guess we'll find out.
Instead of in definition of podcast itself.
It's due in spring 2018, so who knows?
That says to me they've already recorded it.
Quite possibly. Yeah.
Or have started at least.
Yeah, I'd have thought so.
Yeah.
But
how odd. I just... Oh,
it is odd.
I hate it when people approach stuff with, and here's where we'll go next. It's like, we've not heard your first one yet.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean,
calm your tits.
They've not really talked. They've talked about that they're gonna do more, but they haven't talked about what they're gonna do. So I guess they can just, see the caveat being whether it's successful. But yeah, how do you make money from that? Are they selling ad revenue? Are they charging for it? What's going on with that? So it's gonna be an interesting experiment, if nothing else. I think.
As far as casting goes, just basically on the basics of Richard Armitage's Wolverine. I think he was a name passed around a little while ago, and people were like, if you ever had to recast the role on screen, what actors would you go for? I remember seeing his name be brought up, and I was like, I don't hate that idea.
I don't hate that.
The fact that he's playing the part in an audio is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I noticed all the press things about this have used a picture of him in full beard, where he looks suspiciously like Hugh Jackman did in Logan. So it's almost like all the press images trying to be like, yeah, huh?
Well,
screw that. Put him in a yellow outfit.
This article's just got him as Thorin in The Hobbit. So
of course. Well, short and hairy. That is Wolverine.
Yeah, very, very hairy. But Wolverine's far more interesting than anything in The Hobbit. I think the timing of this is also curious because it seems to be coinciding with what's happening at the moment in comics. Is recently the Legacy one-shot revealed that the original Logan is back, alive.
For Christ's sake.
And he's got one of the Infinity Gems.
Oh, for Christ's sake. So that's going to be the next big event then, isn't it?
Well, no. What's happening is they're going to start seeding what's next for Wolverine in a series of post-credit sequences in upcoming comic books.
Oh, God. I mean, I don't hate that, but still, it's like, really, guys?
I kind of wish that they weren't bringing Wolverine back because...
Me too.
Well, they've already got Old Man Logan, who is,
So if you really want a Wolverine, like old school Wolverine, you've got Old Man Logan, or you can go back and read any of the thousands of issues.
Well, yeah. But not even that. As well as having... X-23 is now Wolverine, so she's got her own title. In X-Men Gold, Old Man Logan is part of the Kitty Pryde's X-Men team. And in X-Men Blue, Jimmy Hudson, a 616 version of the Ultimate character, the son of Wolverine, is on the original X-Men team. Well, has joined the team of the time-displaced original X-Men. So there's plenty of Wolverines are out there. You don't need the original coming back. I think it's more interesting to have... Because the Old Man Logan solo series has been really, really good so far. And All New Wolverine's been pretty damn good. X-Men Blue and Gold are both a pretty solid series. Each from the little bit I've read of each of them. I've read the first trade of X-Men Gold, and I'm about halfway through the first trade of X-Men Blue. So there's good stuff going on there. So why bring him back? And I think
it's the Spider-Man in the 90s stuff again, isn't it? It's, here's this version of the character, and here's this version of the character, and this version's a bit different because he's wearing a hood. It's just like, oh, for Christ's sake, just like let X-23 be Wolverine, and have Old Man Logan as a bonus, and there you go. Like that's enough. That's enough. Oh man.
But hey, that's the world we live in. What else has gone on this week? We've just got a couple of little tidbits. Quentin Tarantino apparently is thinking about directing the next Star Trek.
I know, right?
Which is very, very strange.
Yeah, odd. You can't really do a trunk shot at the back of the Enterprise, can you? A trunk POV shot. No one's going to pop open the trunk of the Enterprise to, like, pull a hostage out or anything.
Trunk shot in space. Can it be done?
Yeah. It depends on how big the back of the Enterprise is and how big the person they're smuggling in a carpet is. So, What else? I mean, are we just gonna what are we gonna get? Suddenly a lot more cursing? Like 50 songs gonna enjoy it? Like just start popping up?
Well, there's plenty of cursing in Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah, well, that's true, but not in the J.J. Abrams verse. There's a bit of it. And there's like the occasional
Abrams
shit,
verse, yeah.
the shit and piss and things like that. But like it's just going to be an elaborate sequence that turned out to only exist because he wanted to look at Zoe Saldana's feet. Like it's just I know we're obviously making all the obvious Quentin Tarantino jokes here, but it's like
big chin.
I don't know. The fact that Quentin Tarantino, the older he gets, looks more and more like a Quentin Tarantino villain.
The older he gets, the more he looks like the vampire version of him from Dusk Till Dawn.
Shit, you're right. Oh my god, yeah.
With his giant face.
With his giant face and his receding hair. Well, in that, it's a bigger brow in it, but now he's just like, yeah, he's going the Richard Lewis way of haircuts.
Yeah.
So it's just sort of sliding back. But unlike Richard Lewis, he ain't combing some of it forward. Nor is he an old Jewish actor and comedian.
As much as he wishes he was.
But I don't know. I don't know if I like that. I mean, I'll be honest. I'd like to see a Tarantino take at sci-fi.
Yeah, because we've never really seen Tarantino do anything genre.
No, like we've seen things get a bit fantasy in some of his films. Like Kill Bill. Obviously, the way certain things are shot and everything verge on fantasy a bit. But they're not. Like they're still. The violence is real, and the characters don't do illogically superhuman things, apart from a couple moments and stuff where it's like, oh, okay, that's pushing it a bit, but it's part of the style of the film.
The cases are real. The verdicts are real.
Quentin Tarantino is Judge Judy.
Oh no, I'd watch that. Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean? You're just getting sick of the noise their lizard tank makes through the bedroom wall? Go the fuck up.
So that's a weird little news tidbit. One more little news tidbit before we move on to the main bulk of this show, which is going to be catching up on emails.
Why?
We're going to have another Northern Doctor, Christopher.
Why? That's right, isn't it? Yeah, this week, bunch of press has been popping in and out from the Doctor Who production team as we get nearer and nearer to Twice Upon a Time, a Christmas special that the more I learn about it, the more I'm not looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Oh, God, seriously, the more I read, the more I'm like, oh, for Christ.
By the time it airs on Christmas Day, I'll be 3 sheets to the wind anyway, so it won't matter.
Fair play. It will be my one day off, so I think what I'll probably do on the day... Oh, no, we have a podcast, though. So we've got to talk about it. On the day, I'll probably half watch it and then just pay attention for the final 3 minutes. Just so I can get the glorious, yay, here's the first sign of hopefully what will be a resurgence of awesomeness for this show.
Woo!
But yeah, the more I learn about it, the more I'm like, oh, God. Remember that teaser trailer, the one they put out, I think it was New York Comic Con, that began with footage of Hartnell that like sort of melded into footage of David Bradley as the first Doctor.
Because he's exactly the same as William Hartnell.
Yeah, guess what?
What?
That's allegedly how the episode opens.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, thank
you. Ew.
No.
Yep. Ew.
No.
Ew. Apparently it's full of references to the first Doctor being slightly sexist and misogynist and 60s sensibilities because, the first Doctor was from the 60s.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, God. And part of the 12th Doctor's reason to... Stephen Moffat suggested in the Radio Times interview that part of the 12th Doctor's... not Radio Times, SFX. That part of the 12th Doctor's reason to regenerate... He like almost... It basically implies the 12th Doctor chooses to regenerate into a woman because after seeing his older self, he realises it's time to be more progressive. So it's not just, oh my God, this is really cool casting. Can't wait to see Jodie Whittaker in the role. It's Moffat's, like, Sherlock New Year's special thing all over again of, he's going to say what's progressive and he's going to say what's feminist and everything. It just doesn't play right, does it? It just feels weird.
Fuck that.
But that's also suggesting that the first Doctor is flawed. Do you know what I mean? Is encouraged him to Oh god! But that also implies that the Doctor didn't respect or understand women really before this, and decides, "Oh right, I'm going to change now and try and change that." It's like, so it's taking a shit on every other previous incarnation.
Oh yeah, because Moffat's never done that before.
Oh god, there have only been 2 Doctors that were just outright sort of weirdly uncomfortable around female characters, either by mistreating them or barely like respecting them, and those have been the 11th and 12th Doctors.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just for Christ's sake, just ugh.
Well,
yuck.
speaking of mistreatment.
Oh yeah, but she's gonna talk in a Yorkshire accent.
Yay!
Hey!
Speaking of mistreatment, let's catch up on some emails.
Oh! If you've been abused by podcast hosts neglecting to read your emails, please email in to bigdamcontact@gmail.com and send cash donations.
We're catching up today, so don't worry.
Catch up, what you gonna catch up? Oh, it's full of delicious juice.
First one comes in from Ethan.
Ethan Hawke. We loved you in the movie Sinister.
Not Ethan Hawke.
Not Ethan Hawke.
Ethan says, hello. I have a few questions.
Is Ethan a Bobby from a 1960s Carry On?
When you open your email like that, you are now a Bobby. So...
or Count Olaf.
Deal with it.
Hello.
No, there's no H. It's ease all the way. See, I'm not a fool, Christopher. I know how to read dialects. I have a few questions. Question 1. How do you feel of Love Actually, Star Wars The Force Awakens, and Back to the Future 1, 2, and 3 finally coming to Netflix next month, or in the case of Star Wars, out now? Yes,
all right. I think we're gonna have to go question by question. What were those movies?
Love Actually, Force Awakens.
Love Actually is a disgusting piece of cinema.
That's not the question. The question is, how do you feel about Love Actually, Force Awakens, and the Back to the Future trilogy finally coming to Netflix?
Oh, couldn't care less about Love Actually because it's shit. Actually, seriously, there's an amazing article. I do enjoy Richard Curtis sometimes in a guilty pleasure kind of way, but there's an amazing article that was written on what's the website, Jezebel.
Oh yes.
About 4 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
It's called something like I rewatched Love Actually and I'm gonna ruin it, something like that. And it's just you read it and you go, oh God, you're right. Couldn't care less, but a lot of people seem to enjoy it. It's a Christmas movie, so that's awesome.
Everyone's
what was the next one?
Terrible in Love Actually. Force Awakens.
Yeah, perfect timing. Perfect timing.
Yeah, almost as if Netflix have got a deal with Disney.
Yes.
And the Back to the Future trilogy.
Oh, okay, that's good.
I could watch them again. I don't think they're on yet.
On Netflix. Sorry, that's the official theme, right?
Yes.
Netflix.
So yeah, that's okay, I guess.
Great Scott, Marty! I haven't added fucking that thing to my list. Did you just swear, Doc? Fuck yes, Marty.
I'm ignoring you now, Christopher.
Great fuck.
Question 2. What do you think of Enchanted 2, the Disney one with Amy Adams, Jumanji 2, and Incredibles 2? It better be based off the PS2 game or set after it at the least. That's all.
A really...
Ta-ra!
That is a really vague question considering one of those movies doesn't necessarily exist.
Yeah.
Disenchanted has been in a state of pre-production for about 7 years. Which is the sequel to Enchanted. I know they're going ahead with it, but we don't know much about it. No, and I'll tell you why. No, I'll tell you why. I really love Enchanted. I have a massive fondness for that movie. And
Enchanted
it's
is
the
a great
film.
Movie, yeah.
It's the film that made me go, "Oh, this is Amy Adams. She's incredible." Because it could have been a part that that the sort of part that a bunch of actors, as they got further on in fame and choices of roles, might look back on and be like, oh yeah, no, I did this film once, whatever, blah blah blah. But no, like, she owns that so much. She's brilliant in it, and she is involved in the sequel, but we don't know much else about what state it's in. But Enchanted's fine. Like, I don't want to follow that up.
Yeah,
like,
I have no interest in an Enchanted sequel.
You know, the only reason they'll be doing it is because Amy Adams is now, like, one of the hottest, like, talents in Hollywood. Like, both critically and sort of with, like, fan bases and everything. Add to that, Idina Menzel's in it, and obviously she made them a shit ton of money with Frozen.
Yeah.
So they just want to churn it out for that. But no, I would rather we just get a nice little PS of Giselle popping up in the Wreck-It Ralph 2 Disney website stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, there's Giselle.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That'd be enough. Incredibles 2. Do you want to know something really sad?
What's that?
Still haven't watched the teaser trailer.
It's the most vague teaser.
Classic Pixar teaser.
Yeah. It tells you literally nothing.
Is it Jack Jack?
Yeah, it's Jack Jack, and he uses his unstable powers to like cut a trough through his dad's hair. So his dad's hair's like parted like the Red Sea, and then it gives you the logo, which is the same as the first film's logo, but the I is split into a 2, Roman numeral 2.
That's kind of brilliant as far as logos go.
Yeah.
Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle.
It looks pretty fun, but it's probably going to be terrible. I'm going to go watch it regardless.
Yeah, it's a Sony release at Christmas, so I don't have my hopes up. But like, there are 3 cast members in that lead cast. Like, I'm not a huge Kevin Hart fan. I don't dislike him, but I've not absorbed enough of his stuff to love him. But like, I adore Jack Black, I adore Karen Gillan, and I freaking worship at the altar of Dwayne The Rock Johnson. So
who doesn't?
Like, oh god, oh wow, what a guy. But like, I just
what a man, what a man.
That alone, and the fact that they've made a very big point in this last year of going, it's called Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle, not Jumanji. It's not a rehash of the first. We're doing something different with the story. Is enough to make me go, okay, let's see what you got, guys. Like, let's hope that we've got a sideways glance sequel to the original, as opposed to a Son of the Mask style. What the fuck are you doing? You've missed the point of the charm of the original. and also, but you know what I mean? Like, we can't really judge what it's going to be like yet, because the last one was about enchanted cursed board games spilling a jungle world out into our world. This time, 4 people are just in that world, so it'll be, we'll see. I can already sense it's going to be a comfortable 3 stars kind of movie. That's what I'm getting from it so far. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, yeah, it was fine. It was fun. I had fun. That kind of vibe. You know what I mean? But Jack Black, yay. Jack Black playing a 17-year-old mean girl. Yes.
Yeah, I can see the appeal. I think it's going to be pretty fun.
I'm an overweight middle-aged man.
This one comes in from friend of the show and Coronation Street star, CDM.
Hey! Congrats! Read the story on, oh god, what site was it? It was like Cultbox or something.
Yeah.
The other day. His character's sticking around.
Oh, yeah.
Charlie.
So
you know what that means, don't you?
More Charlie in our northern northern
more Charlie
homeland.
in our diet.
Yay! But he's emailed them in with this, saying, "Oi, oi, boys!
Oi, oi!
Hope all's well, etc., etc. I haven't seen Justice League. As you might be able to tell from the header, I'm kind of done with the whole DCEU thing. The title of the email is Justice Beleaguered.
We should have called our episode that. God damn it.
No.
Justice Beleaguered. That's really good.
I've been various kinds of unimpressed since it first limped onto the scene, and it's been a downward trajectory from there. Now, I've spoken to Charlie recently, and he hasn't seen Wonder Woman, so he needs to see Wonder Woman.
Yeah, we'll have a viewing party.
At this point, the loudest criticism I can personally make is with my wallet, and judging by the woeful US opener, I'd say many are doing the same. I don't think any amount of curiosity could coax me into a theatre for this one. However, I'm interested to hear your thoughts, which I presume you covered earlier in the show, so instead of asking a related question, this was from a week ago or so. Given the bold and hasty recasting of Kevin Spacey and Ridley Scott's All the Money in the World, it got me thinking about other recastings in Hollywood history and the what-if scenarios therein. What would an Eric Stoltz Back to the Future trilogy look like? A Tom Selleck Indiana Jones and poor Stuart Townsend. Is he though? Is he though?
In which project? Isn't there at least 2 who was kicked out during the pre-production?
Oh god. Any faves? Any would rather see over the final version? Smoosh the Booch. And he's included some suggestions for us below, so we don't have to do too much browsing. So we'll go through them first. Martin Sheen for Harvey Keitel in Apocalypse Now.
Oh,
that film still would be weird and long.
Yeah, I mean, I think it still would be what it is, but Sheen is great in there,
and it still would have been dragged down by
Brando and production.
Weird Brando at the end, yeah.
Oh god,
Toby.
I'd keep that one. I'd keep that one as is. I'd keep that one.
Tobey Maguire for Jake Gyllenhaal in one of the Spider-Man films.
It was going to be number 2, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There is an alternate universe in which we get to watch at least one Spider-Man movie with Jake Gyllenhaal in the role, just to see, because this was for those trying to picture it and thinking, wait, what? This was early 2000s Jake Gyllenhaal, who definitely could pass off a slightly more boyish sort of look and everything. Nowadays, he just sort of permanently looks tired, dangerous, and kind of sexy. And that seems to be Jake Gyllenhaal's look: tired, dangerous, and kind of sexy.
Like it.
So this would be like Jarhead, sort of nearly Jake Gyllenhaal, wouldn't it, for 2 or 3? No, I couldn't. It's got to be Toby, simply because Spider-Man 2 is so freaking great. Like, I wouldn't want to change it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what that was about, don't you?
He was Toby was injured, wasn't
he? He was injured during the making of Seabiscuit.
Oh god.
And him and Kirsten Dunst allegedly did not get on very well when making the first movie.
Yeah.
And she was dating Jake Gyllenhaal at the time. She basically came to Sony, and Sam Raimi was like, "Look, we need to crack on. Why don't you audition Jake?" And Raimi was like, "No, we can wait. We'll hold off. We've planned it. We'll hold off a bit longer. Wait for Toby to get better." And the Warner's execs were like, "Well, I don't know. Let's think about this." So, yeah, that nearly happened. That was nearly a thing. I imagine they possibly learnt to get on toward the end of the run, hopefully. But
what else has Charlie included for us? Mark Wahlberg for Ryan Gosling in The Lovely Bones. I've not seen The Lovely Bones, so I've no idea. But Ryan Gosling is a better actor than Mark Wahlberg, so I guess I would have preferred to see that one that we didn't see. We got Mark Wahlberg instead.
No,
but I've not seen it. This one's an interesting one. Keanu Reeves replacing Will Smith.
Yeah, Will Smith in The Matrix. Yeah, Will Smith was offered the role of Neo.
That would have been so weird.
It would have been really, because you wouldn't have had like, "Whoa, I know kung fu." It would have been like, "I know kung fu."
Yeah, that whole thing works because Keanu Reeves underplays it. Because Keanu Reeves underplays everything. Because that's Keanu Reeves.
Did you know who was originally offered the role of Morpheus?
Really?
Do you know?
No.
Sean Connery.
Well, we'll get to Sean Connery in a sec.
Oh, okay. I think I know which one this is. Okay, yeah. Go on.
But yeah,
Keanu was perfect.
Yeah,
for
Keanu
Matrix.
is Neo. Like, I can't imagine Will Smith in that role. It's just he's too showboaty.
We can just watch part of Hancock, but imagine that he's wearing a leather trench coat while he's flying around.
Oh, God, Hancock is terrible.
Hancock is a brilliant half an hour, and then it turns into something else. That was also a subtle that was also a subtle comedy joke there for any Tony Hancock fans who happen to be listening. All of the 14 to 27-year-old Tony Hancock fans that are in our demographic. A pint. That's nearly an armful.
So Sean Connery was originally Gandalf, or approached to be Gandalf in Lord of the Rings over Ian McKellen. What do we think of that?
So glad it turned out the way it did, and it was the same essentially for both that and The Matrix. Connery turned down Lord of the Rings because of the commitment. Like, it was too big as far as he was concerned.
Yeah. It was a hell of a commitment.
It was three films over 4 years, and mostly spending your time in New Zealand.
And also, Sean Connery doesn't like doing anything.
That's true. Hello, I'm a wizard. Plus, he turned down The Matrix because he didn't get it. But in a really frustrated kind of way of like, I don't understand what you're trying to show me. Just leave me alone. Leave me alone. You're like, okay, fine, all right, okay then, Sean. All right then, fair enough. I'm glad Ian McKellen was Gandalf, if only because it meant we got the scene in Extras where he describes his process.
Oh yeah, it's so good. It's so good.
Peter Jackson asked me to play Gandalf, and I said, no, I'm not actually a wizard.
Don't do it. Let him go watch it for themselves,
no.
Christopher. Let him go watch it for themselves.
To pretend to be a wizard. It's amazing. Oh. So good. No scripts on the night. Charlie's listening along going, I could do that better. He can. He's got a crack in McKellen. It's not a euphemism.
So,
yet.
Charlie mentioned the Eric Stoltz Back to the Future.
You can see glimpses of what that reality is like in the making of.
Yeah, because some of that footage is still around, isn't it?
Yeah, they shot a good a couple of months worth, I think, of Marty McFly stuff.
Yeah,
before they recast, and it was just a case of they were looking at the dailies and they were like, he's not bad, because obviously we cast him, like we went through auditions and everything, but I don't know, it's just vibe wise, it doesn't quite feel right. And then they went back and they jiggered with the casting a bit, and
they wanted Michael J. Fox to start with.
Yeah.
But when
that didn't work out, yeah.
It was because of Family Ties. So it was after they fired Eric Stoltz.
Of course, yeah. Because Family Ties were like, no, we're not giving you leeway. No, we need you for this, that, and the other. And the way he did it was, for the most part, he shot all of his daytime scenes. He shot at the weekends, and all of his other scenes and interiors and everything he shot overnight.
Yeah. So
he'd finish at what was the soap? It was
Family Ties.
Family Ties. Was it soap or a sitcom?
Soap, I think.
So claim.
I know it was a TV show anyway. It's a TV show.
He shot Family Ties. He finished at like 7 p.m, 8 p.m. Then a car from the Universal guys would pick him up. They'd have some food for him ready, or they'd take him to get some on the way. He'd sleep in the car. He'd be at the studios about an hour and a half later. He'd wake up, go into makeup, shoot scenes till about 5 in the morning, have his makeup removed, get in the back of the car, go to sleep, have a couple of hours sleep at home, and then be back on set for Family Ties. And yet he still gave the performance he did in that movie, which is great. Do you know what I mean? It's like, my God. Like,
Michael J.
He saw it as, I want to do this, I'm going to do it, and I will suffer and sleep and feel knackered afterwards.
I'll suffer the consequences later. But there's another...
the consequences happen to be a successful film career for the next decade and a half. So, fair enough.
There's another one that gets lost in the Eric Stoltz thing about Back to the Future. So, Christopher Lloyd wasn't the original choice for Doc Brown.
I did not know this. Go. Who was it? Who was it?
It was John Lithgow.
For real?
Yeah, but he was not available. So the producers of Buckaroo Banzai, I shit you not, Buckaroo Banzai suggested Christopher Lloyd for Back to the Future. And if Lloyd hadn't have taken it, they would have asked Jeff Goldblum. Now, I rewatched Jurassic Park a couple of nights ago.
It's your kids, Marty. Something's gotta be done about your kids.
I think both a John Lithgow or a Jeff Goldblum Doc Brown would have been amazing. But Christopher Lloyd kills it. It's not to say we want to get Christopher Lloyd, but yeah.
Oh my God!
That's just so.
I want to peek into that. I want to peek into that timeline. I want to get in the DeLorean, go back, inconvenience Christopher Lloyd on the day so that they cast Goldblum, come back to present, watch the movies, and then pop back and stop myself from recorrecting it.
Yeah.
Just so I can have a look. Just so I can see what that would be like. He'd be way too young though, surely. I mean, I know they aged Lloyd up for the present day Doc.
Yeah.
In the first one. Because in the second one they don't, because they explain it away that he's used some futuristic stuff to make himself look younger. And it's like, we're just doing this so we don't have to put prosthetics on him for the duration of all the movies. It's like, fair enough. Because he was like, what? He was like in his early 50s, I think. At the time of making him.
Yeah.
So they age him up like Billy-O in the first movie when he's in present day. But Goldblum, they would have to have aged him considerably.
I guess, yeah.
Oh, God. Oh my god!
But why not? Why not?
When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious pile of shit.
Oh god!
Oh, that's mad! I'd love to see that.
How about some Batman choices for Tim Burton Batman? What about?
Oh my god! I know which one you're gonna tell me.
So, oh no, there's the obvious silly one, which is Bill Murray.
Yes.
Being,
oh my god! Yeah.
But that was when the movie was supposed to be more comedic, like in the
where
the 60s
it was
show.
It was still going to look dark and gothic, but it was very much going to be like a this is a slightly more grown up version of the show you all know.
Yeah,
but
silly. But no, apparently in the running at various points were Alec Baldwin, Pierce Brosnan, Tom Selleck, Mel Gibson,
right, hang on.
Kurt Russell.
Hold up. Late 80s Alec Baldwin. Yes.
Yeah. Well,
that would have been a really cool choice.
We did get The Shadow later on, which is the, fairly close to it.
Reverse casting then.
Yeah.
You're not going to play Batman, but you're going to play the character that Batman took all of his influences from after, what is it? Bill Finger and Jerry Robinson took him out of that stupid red and yellow kite costume that Bob Kane drew him in. We're just going to nick from The Shadow. Oh, cool. Yeah. Oh god, Kurt Russell wouldn't have been bad either.
No. Charlie.
I'm a mulleted Batman.
Charlie Sheen.
Oh, I'm glad that.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
I want you to tell all your friends about me.
Michelle Pfeiffer was first choice for Vicky Vale in Batman.
Yeah,
but
it was true. Who was it? Who was originally going to then be Vicky Vale in the shot? Was it Sean Young?
No. Sean Young was originally cast.
Yeah, they shot stuff with her as Vicky Vale.
Yeah,
and then she got injured.
Yeah,
and then she came back to audition for Catwoman, but she didn't go to the auditions. She just showed up at Tim Burton's office dressed as Catwoman.
Yeah, and no one's really taken her seriously since. Which is kind of upsetting. What else have we got? Marlon Wayans was cast and fitted for wardrobe and had an action figure made for Batman Returns, but the character was scrapped before they went into shooting. So that was
they briefly spoke to him for the first one as well, because there's a storyboarded scene from the first one featuring Robin, and it features the likeness of Marlon Wayans.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they were talking to him, obviously, and then they were like, no, it's not going to be in this one, but we'll get back to you. And then they were like, yep, okay, right, you're going to be in this one, it's going to happen. Okay, yeah, you stick, likeness done for a toy. Oh, no, never mind, Marlon, sorry, off you go.
So what's the other one? Oh, in Batman Forever, of course, we could have got a Billy D. Williams Two-Face.
Oh, I know. Well, we were supposed to, weren't we? But yeah, then the big shoe got involved.
Yeah, and that changed. But
we finally got him in Lego Batman movie.
Yeah, we did finally get him. Are there any others that come to mind with you, Christopher?
Any biggies?
Because we could literally spend a whole podcast on this.
We could. We probably should actually. It'd be quite a fun one to explore if we just try to look up as many as possible. I'm trying to think if there are any others that really came about in a way that was like, wait, what? Oh, here's an interesting one for you. When not films, but when Doctor Who was revived in production started in 2003. Yeah. Originally, Russell T Davies and the heads of drama approached, believe it or not, Hugh Grant.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember that knocking around as a rumor. Yeah.
And it was partially based off of him being the Doctor in the Curse of Fatal Death skit from 1999. They were just like, this could actually kind of work. Let's talk about this. And the word was that he considered it briefly, but then said he'd prefer to focus on, television. To focus on film than TV. Yeah. Because obviously the TV one's a big commitment. And then I think it came out since that he regretted not at least going, oh, maybe a one-off. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, we're having fun. Yeah. But obviously, I'm glad it turned out the way it did because we got my boy.
My boy!
Yeah, my boy. But you just imagine, it's like...
Oh, I'm sorry.
Justice. Justice once. Oh gosh, if everybody could live, that'd be smashing.
No, thank you. No, thank you. I'm burning that topic forever, so we don't have to do that
go home
again.
and enjoy your lovely beans on toast.
Next one comes in from Guy, not Guy Lambert, other Guy. Says
I'm drinking, other guy. I'm drinking because of you, other guy. Okay. Listen.
Terrible. Don't ever make that sound on mic again. He says, hello, Chris and Matt. Chris, I'm sorry about your experience with Justice League. It's not nice to feel so disappointed and feel as if a film has gone against its source material. It's rather similar to how I felt after watching Star Trek Into Darkness, but I'll leave that rant for some other time. I don't think the problem is so much that it goes against its source material, because that's not necessarily a bad thing for adaptations. It's just a problem it was a bad film. Carrying on from my previous, a Dune podcast would be lovely, although David Lynch's Dune is an absolute glorious mess of a film. You have been warned. I could watch Dune. I was wondering, as a person who never read any DC comics when he was younger, could you suggest perhaps 5 comics which are good potentially starting points? I'm completely lost when I've been looking recently at them. Many thanks.
Thank you, Guy. I've stopped drinking because of you. In fact, not only that, I've become sober and I'm working at the local orphan shelter. Well done, Guy.
All
Chris, because of that email.
Give me 5 trades that are good starting points for DC.
Is it time for one of our occasionally happening recommended lists of reading for new future readers of comic books? DC specifically?
Yeah, DC specifically.
All right, Guy. If you're looking for something, I always recommend this one as like if you're just looking for something blockbustery that's bathed in the familiar, but you'll also learn a little bit more about stuff you may not have known, and it's also a little greatest hits. Batman Hush is always a good one to have a go at.
Yep, Hush is good.
1 12-part story collected in either 2 or 1 books. Features like nearly every Batman villain and an interesting mystery.
Yeah.
Batman Year 1. If you like Batman Begins, Batman Year 1 is a pretty cool kind of parallel to that.
Well, following on from the last email, Batman Begins was originally a Darren Aronofsky-led Year 1 adaptation before Chris Nolan came on board.
Yes, I believe that's true. So Year 1's a good one. Superman Earth 1.
Okay. Yeah, right.
The JMS hardbacks, which are sort of the DC Universe's equivalent of Ultimate Marvel in a way. Like they're not, they don't cross over, but they're like, here's how we would have told it if we were creating it now in this modern setting. It's the Superman movie I would love to see, basically. Superman Earth 1, Volume 1 is really, really good. Boom. Oh, God, I'm trying to think of a couple of others off the top of my noggin. What's the first Scott Snyder arc?
Court of Owls, yeah.
Court of Owls Batman is phenomenal. That's really, really cool. And again, I'm recommending Batman, but it's just because these are the books I think that you'd really enjoy as a first-time reader. Mad Love and Other Stories, which is the Batman animated series comic book collection featuring this story that gave a backstory to Harley Quinn for the first time and is so superbly written, and the backup stories are really good as well. So those are mine. Matthew.
Yeah. I'm going to second all your picks, but I'm going to choose 5 of my own because variety. Firstly, I would say do not worry about continuity.
Yeah.
Just jump in.
Dive in.
And you'll work it out. Don't worry, because some of this stuff is in continuity, some of it's not. Some of it's different universes. Don't worry about it. They're just stories.
The ones I recommended, the only ones that sort of in continuity are Court of Owls, but again, it's the start of a brand new book, so it tells you everything you need to know. And Hush fills in the blanks because it's treated like a one-off story. So yeah. So yes. Oh yeah.
So for my part, I would say Superman Birthright.
Oh, that's a really good one.
The definitive origin for the Man of Steel.
Mark Waid?
Mark Waid and...
Yeah, it's the one that begins with him as a reporter in Africa, isn't it?
What's the artist called?
Lenil Yu? No, it's not him.
It is Lenil Yu.
Is it on that one?
Yeah, it's Lenil
Yu.
Yu.
It's the one. It's the one that starts with Clark on like he's still training to be. He's like studying journalism, isn't he?
And he's in Africa for a bit, and then
that's a really good book.
Just great. If you want to get into more recent stuff, any of the DC rebirths. Well, not any of them, because some of them are a bit pants. But certainly the DC Rebirth Superman, the first volume of that is worth checking out. I can't remember the subtitle for that one. Also, the first volume of the new Batman ongoing, so that would be I Am Gotham. That's worth picking up. So yeah, I Am Gotham. So okay, Birthright, I Am Gotham. The first volume of the New 52 Justice League, which is called Origin.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool, and it'll give you a good sense for all
the
those
parademons
characters.
and everything, and
yeah, that'll give you a good sense for all those characters.
It'll be like the Justice League movie, but good.
One of the
Maybe.
one of the earliest books I read from DC stuff when I was like expanding beyond the Batman mythos was Green Lantern Rebirth, which is the resurrection of Hal Jordan into the DC universe. So that's actually, even though it's like in the middle of continuity, it's actually really good for establishing the Green Lanterns and re-establishing Hal Jordan and getting your head around all that stuff. So that's pretty good. That's 3, isn't it? So 4 and 5. I'm trying to give it a bit of variety, like I say. I would say Batman the Dark Knight Returns. Again, it's not in continuity and it's got some flaws in terms of some of its themes and stuff, but it is a immensely powerful and dynamic piece of comics.
It's a really, really, really like just gorgeous piece of storytelling.
Yeah.
Like the pace of it, and it's very much in the author's voice. But at this point, the author wasn't a crazy person entirely. There was just an underlay of crazy that flashed through occasionally. But yeah, no, that is a great book, and you'll get to see why it is people draw from it so much, but also understand why people really should stop drawing from it.
Yeah,
because on its own is where it works really well.
Yeah, it works on itself. And also, I'm going to double up on. Superman, and I'm going to say All-Star Superman by Grant Morrison and Frank Whiteley.
Yeah, that's lovely. That's such a lovely book.
Again, it's kind of not it's kind of out of continuity, but it just gives you an idea of all these concepts, and it really gets to the core of Superman as a character and makes it very clear why the version of him that they went with in the DCEU doesn't really work for the character. If you're doing a Superman, character, then yeah, it just doesn't feel right. So yeah, give those 5 a go. If
you fancy something, just a bonus, cheeky little bonus. If you fancy one that isn't necessarily a superhero book, but just a character book, I think we've sucked its dick quite a bit. But American Alien, Superman.
Oh yeah, I was thinking about doing American Alien, but I've already got Birthright in there, so
yeah. So if you give Birthright a read. And if you want to know just a bit more about Clark and Superman and stuff, like about that period of his life, American Alien's really good because it's just 7 stories told over the course of like the first 20 years of his life that just sort of teach you little bits about who he is, and what makes Clark, and what makes Clark do Superman the way he does.
And it doesn't work in continuity with Birthright, but don't worry about that because it's not about the continuity of it. It's about who they are as a character.
It's like fairy tales.
Yeah.
It's like when you hear fairy tales when you're a kid, like, a parent will tell you and like a grandparent will tell you, and then you'll read them in a storybook and someone at school tell you, and they're all telling them differently, but you get that this and this are all part of it, and you just go with it. That's pretty much how you need to approach comic books that might seem a little continuity heavy or a bit daunting. You just need to dive in, because by the end of it you'll be like, oh yeah, I know what that is, and I know what that is now, and I kind of get that. And then the next time you bump into it in another story, you'll be like, oh, that's sort of like that thing. Okay. And you just, you get it. You pick it up as you go.
Yeah. All right. There we go. Hope that has answered your questions, Guy. Next email comes in from Sean, and he's giving us an update on the DC TV show situation. Since after hearing our uninterested thoughts on The Flash. So this is a quick non-spoiler rundown of the current CW DC TV EU shows. Fuck
Nice.
me. 7 episodes in. Before we get into this, I should also note that in another bit of sexual harassment news, Andrew Kreisberg has been fired.
Yeah, from Flash and Supergirl.
So Greg Berlanti is currently the sole showrunner over there.
The Shoal showrunner.
The Shoal showrunner. So, okay, this is what Sean has to say about these shows. Supergirl, same as ever, with a seemingly increased focus on character and more licensed music than I remember from previous seasons. Okay.
Well, it's very poppy. It's sort of aimed at younger teens, so yeah.
The Flash, lightened back up from last season. No trying to get faster, all about thinking faster. Also, Joe West and whatever version of Harrison Wells Tom Cavanagh's playing now are a delight as always. Yeah, okay.
Oh, okay. I'm slightly suckered in a bit by the thought of seeing Tom Cavanagh try another Harrison.
I've seen a few minutes of the new season
opener.
and was like, I don't think it was the opener. It was one of the episodes of the new season. Was like, this is okay. Legends, fun, light, and silly at times, but it can have its serious moment when it comes to story and character moments. It just seems to have the most fun with the time travel this season. They do also make quite a few movie references. Okay. I never really got into Legends.
Remember movies?
Yeah, maybe. Arrow, same as ever, but with a happier Oliver and no flashbacks. And I think a focus on the team as a whole, not just Oliver.
Only took them 18 seasons, but
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That was your CW DC TV EU roundup for December 1st. I've still not found myself urged to jump in, have you?
No.
Weird, isn't it?
Not at all.
Weird.
I don't know what that's about, but hey. This one comes in from Tom Monte, and I'm not going to do the voice because I'm sick of that joke now. I'm bored
Tom
of it.
Monty will return in another guise at some point.
Whenever I can be asked doing the voices again. I just need to get through these emails because I've got places to be and things to do. Season's greetings, Christopher and Matthew. I hope your cold or cough or whatever it has fucked off for good. Matthew, yes it has. My voice is nearly back to top form. How are we feeling about the reports that the Doctor Who Christmas special will be released a week early on Amazon US? If it's true, then it's going to be fantastic to see hundreds of GIFs of the out-of-context regeneration all over my Twitter feed a week before I watch it. So excited about that.
Yeah, it looks like it's been cleared up, actually. Earlier this week, there was a scare. Amazon announced that Doctor Who Christmas Special would be available from a certain price and stuff. This is Amazon in the US, I think it was.
Yeah.
From the 18th of December. And everyone went, what?
They'll be pre-order,
what the hell? Well, everyone was like, especially because obviously you've got, it's paid for by license fee payers. And it's like, so what, people on Amazon in America are going to see it before we are? What's going on? It's since been clarified. No, it was a statement that basically was misinterpreted. What it's referring to is that the return of Dr. Mysterio and other Christmas specials will be of a better price, like a discounted price.
Oh, right. That makes more sense.
They've still not put out a statement to clarify that entirely, but they've responded to Amazon support have responded to several tweets to explain it. So, woo-wee.
Fair enough.
I just thought, isn't that typical of this current era that there would be one last major leak before it completely changed to a different team?
Yeah, I think so. On the topic of Doctor Who gives a shit, when 12 regenerates, do you think anyone else will be present, assuming it's in the TARDIS? And what do you think 13's first line will be? Do you think she will refer to her gender, or do you think Chibbers has written it as if the change is irrelevant? Have a lovely day, Tom Monte. I hope no one else is present, because I want this to be a fresh start. And I hope 13's first line isn't a whole "I'm a woman now" thing. But going off what you've said about it being the choice to be more progressive, I'm not entirely sure that.
Well, her scene was written by Chibnall, so.
Oh, okay, that's good then. We'll see.
I the most I'd like is just her to be sort of catch a glimpse of herself or whatever, or whatever, sort of hear her voice, pause for a second, and then go, "That's new." Do you know what I mean? That's all you need, isn't it? She's just like, "Oh, that's new," and then move on. Boom. Like, okay, this is me now. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Because then it's just then it's an acknowledgement publicly of, hey, we're doing this. It's really happening, guys, and then you move on. But you don't at the same time turn it into a gimmick by going like, oh, look, I've got boobs, everyone.
Yeah.
Look, I have boobs. Like if if it was Moffat writing it, she'd make a joke about like, oh, should probably have a bra.
Terrible, absolutely terrible.
Awful.
Talking about terrible, it's the final email of the show.
Have you pre-read it? Are we in for a terrible email?
I have pre-read it. We're not in for a terrible email. We're in for a terrible formatting choice because there's a row of emojis of ducks in between every paragraph, and some paragraphs are very short. So we've got this is from Luke, and he wants to do some quick fire ratings for the following movies.
Ratings. Quick fire movie ratings.
Quick fire out of 10. I'm going to hit him with you, okay? Hit you with them, I should say.
Oh, baby.
17 again. I haven't seen it.
Haven't seen it. Matthew Perry in it. Not very funny.
An unviewed out of 10. Airplane.
Love it.
It's a
great.
classic. 9 out of 10. Airplane 2, the sequel. I've actually not seen Airplane 2. Is it any good?
No, I haven't actually seen it either, so
there we
I
go.
cannot comment.
That's an unwatched out of 10. Attack the Block. 9 out of 10. It's great. Get it watched.
It's freaking great. It's Finn and the 13th Doctor kicking the shit out of aliens in a tower block. It's great.
Yay! Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery.
Love that first one. Think it's really entertaining. Wish they'd stopped at that one.
I have a feeling it's not aged well. Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me.
Couple good jokes, mostly pointless.
6 out of 10. At best, it's not great. Austin Powers in Goldmember. It's a 4 out of 10 movie. A 3 out of 10 movie. It's terrible. Don't watch it. Why are you talking about Austin Powers on this podcast? Why?
I've never really enjoyed it and was like quadruply surprised when I was in India last year filming. Channel hopped, caught it, was like, I've not seen this in a while, watched 5 minutes and decided it was the most offensively unfunny thing I'd seen in years.
It is desperately unfunny. Also a correction for me from how many other weeks ago when we were talking about Heathers. It's not a John Hughes film. It's a dark comedy social commentary where Winona Ryder falls in love with Christian Slater and he tricks her into doing bad things to her friends and getting away with it. I'm not going to say any more than that because it's quite spoilery.
It's not to be confused with the musical, is it, or is it the same thing?
I have no idea. It might be the same thing. Also, Luke wants to say that he's started it. The film reviews he was thinking of doing. He's started up a new podcast called Please Be Seated.
That's a good name.
And that's
a really good name.
And his first one is Doctor Who the Movie with Alex, the Doctor Who guide Patterson, and that's on Bottle Productions on YouTube if you want to check that out.
Nice one. There you go.
And as a little recommendation, he's also recommended the Sunnydale Stacks, which is a Buffy podcast, which is like a rewatch thing.
Snap.
So, yeah, that might be worth checking out.
That'd be good. I have a little commute to the theatre every day, a little walk-in route, so it'd be nice to have a little listen to that. Ooh.
I've been listening to No Such Thing as a Fish recently, so I've been plenty entertained by that.
Is it a podcast, or is it just people walking alongside you saying,
no,
it's a cover-up, man. It's a cover-up. They tell you they're fish, but really they're just leaves with funny faces.
It's a podcast that was started up by some of the QI researchers, and it's all about like silly facts, things like that.
Oh, I would listen to the shit out of that.
It's really fun. It's really fun. But yeah, that's all our emails, and that's all for this show. This should have been shorter, but actually ended up being longer and about nothing show. Oh, well.
I'm going to have a real fun time trying to figure out what the title and thumbnail are going to be.
Yep.
Probably just I don't know, a picture of what should it be a picture of? Oh, God.
My middle finger.
No. It's got to have a wacky face, or it's got to have either breasts or a wacky cartoon face to be popular in the algorithm.
Minnie Mouse, but sexy.
That is not happening in a million years because it was Mickey 2 weeks ago, and it'll confuse the pattern.
Listen, just go to DeviantArt. They've got you covered.
God, I'm not going there. You kidding me?
I'm not going there.
Have you seen the things they do there?
It's a hive of scum and villainy.
Funnily enough, that's the name of our two Sonic the Hedgehog OCs. Scum and Villainy. If you want to get in touch with us during the week, you can do that at bigdamcontact@gmail.com. You can also tweet us at BigDamnCast and send us your emails. Next week, we'll probably be chatting a bit. I think the plan for next week is to talk about The Room and the Disaster Artist a little bit.
Yeah, we can do that.
So that'd be a giggle. And then week after, we're going all in on Star Wars. So if you've got any ideas, any predictions about The Last Jedi, get them sent to us. We'll read them out next week. Till then, Matt, take them on home with this sound piece of advice.
Never, ever go for a wee after you've chopped chilies.
Why? I don't get it.
'Cause I'm burning right now, that's why!
That's where the credits roll. The credits are rolling. That's not our song, is it? Play the real thing.
I am stopping this right now before it goes any further.
That's what she said.